Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to our 4for4 series, the baby edition. Yes, and today we're going to work on layout 1. And so by now you probably have your kit all done and you have your papers all cut up and those are laid aside. And then also the most important thing is that you have your list of what number is what paper. And I talked about it in the previous two videos. So I will have that listed below. Just look at those two videos. And so of course, with that being said, you do not have to do baby pages. You do not have to do a baby round. You don't have to use baby photos. You can do the same thing we're doing with whatever paper you want, whatever collection you want, and certainly with whatever photos you want. We're just doing more in the pastel baby anything, okay? So if you want to go ahead and make a kit and follow the same paper cut measurements, it's all the same. We're just playing with the baby stuff because that is what my lovely subscribers wanted to see. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with layout 1. And of course I have some photos here. We're going to talk about that. Now with that and what we have been doing all along. Oh, and I have a note here. Let me say this. All the notes will be below. Okay, so just look below and you'll see all the instructions. Okay, just hit that show more button. Okay, so you have your papers are cut up and they're laid to your side. Okay, so what you should have in front of you is that you should have, if you had any specialty papers, and then if you pulled anything out for matting, and then your bonus sheet, okay, and then also to your cardstocks. Now, of course, if you're a 2-page gal, you know you have twice the amount of this, but I have 4 pieces of paper here that's going to serve as my backgrounds. But with that being said, if I want to pull something else from my stash while I'm playing along, that is exactly what we're going to do. There are no rules here. We're just going to have fun. Yes, so those are what I have in mind for my backgrounds. May not work. It all depends on what mood I'm in and what photos I decide, because even though I'm working on layout 1, I only have photos pulled for this layout. I don't have videos pulled, or I don't have photos pulled for my other 3 layouts. That's just not how I'm working right now. Yes, okay. So along with that, keep these papers close by, okay? And then we'll talk about something else, because along with this baby round, what we're going to do is we're using different measurements. And if you've never taken the 4for4 series, you can certainly start with this, but we do much more basic type of cuts and more basic pages with our first 4for4 round, and then every time we do the series we build on it, and then we build from that, and then we build again. So this is where we are in our 4th round of our 4for4 series. We're going to build again on what we've already been doing, and with that being said, we have different measurements this time, okay? So take your time when you're cutting your papers, and then also to watch the first couple videos if you want to before you start cutting your papers, because maybe what we do this round is not what you want to do. Because what we're going to do in this round is that we're going to do a happy horizontal and a band and a block and a grid. Okay, you may not want to do that on your pages, but it's fun to learn something different. Okay, so with this layout number 1, we're going to do the happy horizontal. So let's get to it. Okay, now we'll keep these all to the side. Okay. And then once we start playing with things, I'm going to talk about one more thing. Yes, I always have so many notes. Chicken scratch laying here and laying to the left. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, first of all, here's the background I'm going to play with for filming. Okay, it's just white basil, nothing fantabulous. Okay, and then what we're going to do is for layout number 1, again, these measurements will be listed below. We're going to need 4 pieces of paper. And it's so easy. So for our 4 papers that we need in layout number 1 is our number 1 paper. And definitely have this to your side when you're looking at what I'm saying as far as your number 1. For me, my number 1 is my floral, okay? That is going to be your 6x12, okay? You know, happy horizontal. And then our number 2 paper is going to be another 6x12. Okay, there's my number 2 paper. My pink triangles, okay? And then for our number 3 paper, how about our number 3 paper, okay, which mine's a blue star, is going to be a 1x12, and you can already see there's a page design, right? And then our last piece of paper is my number 4, which is my yellow, and it's going to be a 1/2x12, okay? Now I'll go over those measurements one more time, okay? In our paper number 1, 6x12, paper number 2, 6x12, our paper number 3, a 1x12, and a paper number 4, a 1/2x12. So you can see in our first page, we use all 4 of our papers. Yes, love that. Now, of course, we have our bonus sheet, so don't keep that too far. My bonus sheet is this gray. And then I also pulled a specialty. okay? And then I also have paper for matting if I want. So with these 4 pieces of paper, you can use all of these or just a couple, and then you can use the addition of these if you want to. There's a lot of options when it comes to this series because not everybody scraps the same. So I like to give options, okay? And then if you had, remember what I said? I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm getting the cart before the horse. I get so excited when it comes to scrapbooking. Don't you just love when you can have an hour and you can sneak away and forget the world? Yes, okay. So with a happy horizontal, now in this series, I won't be going into a lot of different page designs because we've already been doing this in our go-to designs. I'm going to skirt over some designs, but then I want to refer you to the go-to designs that we're talking about for even more, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a design of happy horizontal, okay, in this, but then we're also going to be playing with embellishments in this round, okay, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give some different measurements, some different designs, and perhaps some different embellishments. So we got a few things going on. And so what I'm going to do for these 4 pieces of paper, okay, now you can clearly see what a happy horizontal is. It's a 6 by 12 here and a 6 by 12 here. If I can match this up, yeah, okay, match this up. And then what you do basically is you're taking something, and I could definitely use my paper number 3, and that is a happy horizontal, okay? Now that's an equal 6 by 12 and a 6 by 12, but a happy horizontal does not have to be that size. That's just what we're playing with. And then you can always layer this on top of that, and right there is your page design. Simple, simple. But then you say, well, Janet, I don't see no background paper. Okay, now that is something when it comes to the happy horizontal. You can absolutely use a leftover piece of paper that you don't care for. You know, just flip it over. Maybe it's just a piece of paper you don't care for it, but the back is white. Flip it over, and then what you're going to do is basically wallpaper that piece of paper you don't like, or maybe you have some cardstock you have too much of, and you just want to use that. You don't want to use a good piece of basil because you're not going to see it if you do it this way, okay? But for sometimes you can just wallpaper. I mean, this is the most simplest design you're ever going to do in scrapbooking, the happy horizontal. This is why I love it so, because when I don't have any brain power, this is what I do. And again, now some people say, well, you can seam these together with washi. You can definitely do that, but it doesn't give you stability. I really, really encourage you to use a backer when you're doing a happy horizontal in this 6 by 12 format, okay? But again, keep in mind, don't use something good if you're not going to see it, right? Absolutely. Okay, and so then, of course, you could take this half by 12, flip it right on top of that, okay? There's your happy horizontal. There's your page, okay? And then you can do, now, what I want to say in this first layout, we use one photo, but you don't have to, okay? And I'm going to show you the photo I'm going to use. It's going to be something different, okay? But there is your basic happy horizontal. This is why I love it, and this is why we have a go-to design of happy horizontal. It is so simple. Now, let's play around with this happy horizontal. There's one way, and then what you simply do is you can simply rotate, and now you have another whole page. Okay, you 2-page gals, all you're going to do is whatever you do on the left, you do on the right, or you can put a happy horizontal like this on the left, and this could be your page design on the right. How perfect is that? I know, it's so fun, okay? But then with that, if you don't want to do that whole landscape and cover up that back piece, what you can certainly do is trim a little bit off on each side, and you do the same thing. Say you would just trim off, maybe a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch on one side, and then then what you're going to do, and then you're going to have a little bit of a mat. Okay, you can certainly do that. Again, we go over that, and all you have to do is basically watch the first, I'd say, 15 minutes of that go-to designs. You're going to get a lot of different ideas for this go-to design. Okay, and I will tell you that mine will be cutting down a little bit different, and I'll be doing the offset method, which is this. Okay. Okay, this is the offset method. And so then anything you see here on the right, that would be cut off, okay? I will be doing the offset method because we're going to be playing with some embellishments, okay? Now with this, okay, you're going to do the happy horizontal. If you choose to keep them 6 by 12, if you choose to cut them down, if you choose to rotate, completely your choice. There's no wrong way. But let's play around a little bit. Instead of these pieces of paper, you could maybe put one here at the top. Okay, you could put one at the bottom, and then in the middle, what could you do? Well, you could definitely play with your ribbon that you pulled out, okay? Or you can even just skip these and don't even play with that, okay? And then you could also, you could play around with some washi. Okay, now when I put washi on layouts, I usually put it on a piece of white cardstock, and then I would cut that cardstock down. So basically you're making a washi border sticker. Okay, there's my clouds. It's hard for a left-handed person when your washi comes off the roll this way. You would think it would be easier, but it's harder. So you see, if I would take this washi and put it right there, it kind of gets lost because I'm seeing the background of that floral. So I do the Vanessa trick and put it on white cardstock. So you could do that with washi, okay? You could put ribbon. And then, of course, you know, we also, if you wanted to, we put border stickers and border strips. Let me get something that shows up. And let's just put this yellow here. Okay, you could put that. Okay, you could use a border stripper. Border stripper. Oh, wow. Oh, we better get over that topic real quick. A border strip or a border sticker. Okay, and then you could put that. Or that you could do a combination of all three. No wrong way to do that. Okay, so that is the Happy Horizontal. Believe me, it's so quick. Whether you keep them 6x12, that's the quickest way. You don't even do any cutting. We already cut them in the 6x12 format, so you can just leave them in that size, okay? And then you can absolutely cut those down or just cover up the seam, okay? You can give yourself a mat here at the top. You can give yourself a mat down here at the bottom. You can give yourself a mat the whole way around, okay? But I'm definitely going to do an offset method, okay? Or my paper will be coming. Okay, now let me just talk to you about my photo. And I have to tell you, I'm probably a little off today because when I pulled my photos, I went into a crying fit for about an hour. I kid you not. My husband called to check in on me. He said, "How you doing?" He goes, "You sound like you're crying." It's like, yeah, I just pulled some photos and yeah. Okay. So I went into a crying fit, but I think I can get through it now. So I'm probably a little off. But anyways, for my photo today on this layout, I am absolutely doing one. And I will be using, now this is a 5x7. A 5x7 on this Happy Horizontal would be a perfect size. We all have these of our children, whether it's a school photo or a baby photo, you know, those mass photos we used to get. And this is 20 years ago. So I definitely could use this, okay? But this isn't the one I want, okay? This is the photo I want. And you're like, how in goodness gravy are you going to get this one photo on this one layout? It is because I'm going to be cutting this down. Because even though this is I think this is an 8x10, right? Yeah, it's an 8x10. I don't need all this. I just want this face right here. So I absolutely can cut this down, and I'm going to be giving it my own mat with this white cardstock that's in our kit. And maybe I could put some vellum with that too. See what I'm saying? You can, there's no wrong way to do this. So I will be cutting this down, and I will be using one photo. And that is what I wanted to say. In layout 1, we do use one photo. In layout 2, 2 photos. Layout 3, 3 photos. And in layout 4, 4 photos. But please do not follow that rule if you don't want to. It's just what we do in the series. But you certainly don't have to do it that way. If I wanted to consider this 4 photos, you can do 4 photos, okay? Just keep that in the back of your mind. There's no rule that says this is layout 1, I have to use 1 photo. No. But I will be cutting this 8x10 down, okay? And here's how I came to that decision that I can cut this photo down. Because this photo has not been in a frame for probably 18 years. It's just been in my file system, and I'll talk more about that in our photo series, how to house these type of photos. So there's no sense in me having to keep with that mentality. I have to keep this as an 8x10. It's not going to go in a frame ever again. It's not going to probably be displayed, so it might as well make and find a home in my scrapbook album, and it's going to do it on this page right here, because this is what I'm in the mood to scrap, and I will be cutting this down. And so I'll tell you what my overall measurement is for this one photo layout, and this photo is going to take probably a good landscape of my layout. And that's okay, because that's what our photos should do. Our photos should take center stage. But for video purposes, I will use this one to give you just a little bit better visual of what I'm doing. Okay, so excited because I love this. I mean, and I will tell you a quote that I ran across as I was getting ready to film this. Okay, let me find it here. And is this not an adorable quote? It says, "The littlest feet make the biggest footprints in our hearts." Is that not sweet? Sweet, sweet. Maybe I will use that as a title. Oh, I have to keep that out. Okay. So say I'm going to do the offset method, and what is that? Okay. Because what I'm going to do, and if you saw in my photo, my little girl is looking this way. So I'm trying to think, do I want this on the left or right? This is going to be a page. It's going to be on the right. So I'm going to do my offset method this way. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'll be doing the offset this way. So imagine that I had these papers cut down, okay, and I'll be shifting everything to the left, and I will be having a mat the whole way around. And it might be even shorter than that, because we're going to play with some embellishments, okay. Now, I had said in this 4for4 series when we were building the kit, okay, and my photo is going to go here, okay. And I definitely could use this 5x7, so this is the time to break out those bigger photos, yes, of our babies that we take out of the frames and then we don't do anything with. Okay, I had said that I was putting a 6x6 paper pad in my kit because I wanted to show some different embellishments. Because a design is a design, and what I show, you can already see in our go-to designs, okay? So there's no sense going through, you know, you can do this design and this design. We've already covered that in our happy horizontals. So I want to show also some embellishing that we can do with our design. And so this is a happy horizontal. And so I'm going to do some embellishments on this side. Okay. And that's why I'm going to be pulling a paper pad. So what you can do then is pull out those punches that we did for our kit. This is what I'm calling the baby rattle Martha Stewart punch. And so remember, you can use your edge punch, and where this seam is, you can absolutely use your edge punch there. Okay. And then I also pulled some scallop punches. Okay. And so I'm going to be playing with the paper pad, and I'm going to be playing with my scallops. Okay, and we're going to be doing an embellishment row over here on the right. That is the plan. It's just something I wanted to do in this series because we've already talked about the happy horizontal, and we talked a lot about it. But that is what we're going to do. So you're going to take your 6x12, number 1, 6x12 of your number 2, and then your number 3, your 1x12. I mean, right there's your page. That's how simple. Truly, that is how simple your page can be. And then you can absolutely put that 1/2x12 right on top of that. You can even keep layering with border stickers and border strips. I mean, look how pretty that is. I can even run another border sticker right up there, and there's your page. All I have to do is find a background that I don't care if it's covered up, and then right here, right there's your page. I mean, simple, simple. That's why I love the happy horizontal. Okay, so don't forget to play with different supplies when it comes to covering that seam. Excuse me. And then also don't forget, there's nothing to say that you can't put ribbon up at the top. You could put some washi or a border sticker down at the bottom. You can keep on playing. Okay, so that's the happy horizontal. So I will come back with my finished page, and I will be showing my happy horizontal in an offset method with a row of embellishments. So hold on. Okay, I'm back with my finished page, and I am in love. How adorable this page turned out, because I'm in love with that photo. Yes, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. So let's talk about where my 4 pieces of paper landed in this layout number 1. And so, of course, right here you can see there is my 6x12. That was my number 1. There's my number 2 paper. There's my number 3 paper, and there's my number 4 paper. And so what then I did is I took them into the offset method, meaning I just shifted them to the edge of my paper, and that is where I did a corner rounder, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And then so basically you can see, let me slide this over a tad. That's what I cut down. That's what I did. Okay, and there's a little bit of my number 3, and there's a little bit of my number 4. That's what I cut down. Okay, and I'll talk about these leftovers in just a minute. So I cut mine down, and then I shifted them a little bit, and then I took my corner rounder, which is right here, and I put that on my edges right there. And I'm going to talk about that corner rounder right now, because that is something. This is a fabulous little tool. I say this should have prime real estate on your desk. Why? Because it can create and help you create movement on your page because of this angle, and then also to mood and feel, because that corner rounder, that simple little tool, creates some softness on our pages, because, you know, this is a little bit of blocky. Just that simple tool of this corner rounder, that simple little angle, gives us some softness. And of course, we're doing baby pages. Softness is part of our mood and feel. Yes, absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so you can see with my leftovers, I have them here. and I used them for a little bit of embellishments, but then that is how simple my design is. That's that happy horizontal right here, and I took to cover up the seam. Now what I did with my seam is that I used my 3 and 4 papers for my seam, and then I also had added ribbon, a border sticker, and a border strip, and then down here I added another border sticker. Of course I have a little bit of embellishments here, a little bit of embellishments there, because of this embellishment row there, and we'll talk about that just in a minute. And so then with my photo, it was an 8 by 10. I cut it down, and it's roughly about a 7 by 8 now. I took one of my pieces of white cardstock that was in my kit, and I gave myself my own mat, and then I put it on a piece of vellum. Now, I did not gut any of those pieces of paper except that vellum, because I can use a little bit more of that as embellishments, which I did, and then also too on another page. So you don't have to gut all your papers, because in my number 1 and my number 2, everything behind that photo, I didn't gut any of that out, because that's the simplicity of doing a happy horizontal. It's basically slap and stick. Slap that paper down and stick it to it. Yes. And so then also too, I have my title on top. My title says, "Did I smell pink?" Because that is my story. This is why I wanted to use this photo, because of course not only is my little girl wearing her pink dress, but she came to me one day, excuse me, and she said, "Mommy, when I was born, did I smell pink?" I mean, now, honestly, is that not precious? It absolutely is. And so if you are a new mama, or a young mama, or you still have babies at home, I just want to say, please do yourself a favor and keep a running notebook of all these conversations that you have with your teenager, all these fun little sayings that your toddler says, and then all these precious questions that a baby asks. You know, so it's just take the time to write those down. Someday, like me, when you're dealing with empty nest, you'll be glad you have those memories to reflect on and to do pages about them, okay? So I know that as mamas, when our babies are growing up, we don't have time to scrapbook. We just don't, okay? And you think, well, someday. Well, I'm in that someday mode right now. So I will say, take some time, journal those little things. I'm not doing nothing fabulous, just a little notebook from Walmart, and write down those little quips and keep it ongoing all these years. Keep it going. And then when that happened, I made sure that I wrote it down in all these years. Right now, I finally got to it. Yes, love it. And that's why I wanted to use this photo, because I have the year 1999. Was that the year she said that to me? I don't know, because I didn't write that down, but it was around this time. And then of course she's wearing a pink dress. That's why I wanted to use that photo. So of course I have a little bit of embellishments here, and I have a Brad here that has a little pink onesie. Again, go with my story, and then a little bit of cluster up here, because I wanted to make sure I tied in some of the elements over here with some of my clusters here. And if you notice, I got some photo corners also too on that photo. Okay, so what these leftovers, I want to say that when you have some leftovers, if you do, definitely use them for embellishments, or keep them and you can take them to the next page or the next card when we get to it. But do not put these with your other pre-cut papers, because you will get confused. Keep these in a separate pile, all themselves, because you can see I used one for embellishments. I'll just throw that away. But yes, so do not put those with your other pre-cut papers. No, things will get confusing. So now what we're going to talk about is, we're going to talk about this embellishment row here, because in this 4for4 series, our designs are going to be simple as far as what we're going to do, because we've already talked about this design in length, and so we just made it easy on ourselves. But I also wanted to show some different embellishments, because we're always looking for new ways to use our supplies, and a lot of us for 2019, our focus is using what we already have, and so that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to move this, well no, I'll talk about it for a minute, and then I'll show what I did. Very, very easy to do. So you can see that what I did was I took my punches that I used in my kit, which was my scallops here. I have 2 different sizes, and I just took some of this, some of my papers that was in that 6x6 paper pad, and I took those punches and I punched out different colors, you know, the yellow and the blues and the grays and things like that, and then I just layered them. And then of course I took this one piece of my number 1, I had that laying here, my number 1, and then I took some circle punches, 3/4, 1 inch, and then, because they were just laying there on my desk already, and then I used that and made some embellishments, because my some of these circle shapes I pulled on foam tape. And so I'll show you here how I did that. Used some vellum, and then I added in sequins, pearls, and enamel dots, and then also 3 little word stickers. One says so cute, adorable, and favorite moment, because that little quote there is probably one of the quotes that has always stuck out in my mind when she came to me one day. Mommy, when I was born did I smell pink? Yes, only the beauty and innocence of a child could think that way. Really? Honestly. Okay, so now I'm going to move this for a minute. We're going to talk about how to do that embellishment row, and then hopefully you'll not do the mistake that I did. I'll talk about that. Okay, so what I did was I took some of those punches and I just punched shapes in different patterns, okay? So there I have the scallops. Here I have some of these circles, different sizes, different colors. Some is in vellum. Okay, there's my vellum circles. Okay, and I think I had a vellum scallop somewhere. Maybe. Okay, look at all these fun little embellishments. And so then what you want to do is you want to pick a side of your page. It could be the top, the bottom, the left, or the right. And then what you're going to do is run a row of adhesive on that edge. Okay, so I'm going to use this as an example. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use some score tape, and that's what I used on my page because it is really, really good stuff. Okay, but you also could use a tape runner, or you could use your ATG gun and you could run a row of adhesive. Just don't make it liquid because you want a little bit of time to be able to play with your punched shapes here. So there is my, I don't know if I did, yeah, I did that pretty good. Look at that, eyeballing pretty good. Okay, so there is my score tape. Love score tape. Okay, so then all I have to do then is just play with these embellishments, and I took mine to the very edge, okay, and start with your bigger pieces and work down to your smaller pieces. Now with that, you can certainly take your scissors and go ahead and cut some of these in half, and then you would have twice the amount, okay? But just make sure this cut edge overlaps, okay? Because you want to make sure you get a straight edge when you're done. So don't take it like this, okay? Unless you use your trimmer really good get a good straight edge. But I'm a lefty, I can't cut worth anything, okay? And then of course, I'll just cut this in half too. Okay, and then you're just overlapping. Okay, and then we'll cut all this excess off. Okay, and so there we go. Okay, and so of course I had some vellum shapes on there too. So when you get that first row on there, what you want to do is flip it over, and you want to trim off this excess using a pair of long blade scissors. This was my mistake. I took it to my trimmer because I thought, oh, you know, I have 12 inches. Okay, you can see on my layout, I did this row 12 inches long. So I thought to myself, I'll take it to my trimmer. One swipe of my trimmer, I'll be done. Well, I didn't realize that some of my layers was a couple punches, you know, couple images thick. Yes, and my trimmer blade shifted my layout, and I got a little bit of a wonky cut. So believe me, listen to me, don't make my mistake. Use your trimmers to cut off that edge, or use your scissors to trim off that edge. Do not use your trimmer, okay? So that's how you get that nice straight cut. And then, of course, you can come in here and then play with some additional shapes. They don't have to be circles. That's just what I did, okay? You can play with this. And some of these you can put on foam tape. There's some vellum, and that's what I did. I put some of these on foam tape. And then you start playing them with all your finishing touches. Pearls, sequins, enamel dots, brads, anything, and then just play. Now, one thing when it comes to something of this nature and you're doing a big embellishment like that, the easiest way to get a balance of these type of things is to use an odd number. So with these yellow bling, let me start with these pink sequins. So let me I'll put 5 of those pink sequins, and I'll just sprinkle them the whole way down this row. Okay, open on the frame. Okay, so that's an odd number. Okay, that's 5. Okay, and then I want to play with these yellow gems, and I'll do 3 of these. Okay, and of course nothing's here down, so I may have some shifting, but you'll get an idea here. Where's my other one? I had another one. Okay, so there is 5 of those pink sequins, 3 of those yellow, and then I could definitely get in some of these little baby blue pearls. Yes, and then just sprinkle them in an odd number down your row, and that will help you get a balance if you do things in odd numbers, okay? And of course, you know, you can add some enamel dots. Why not? We'll just keep on playing, right? And that's exactly what I did. And I will show you on mine, I absolutely used some word stickers too, and that gave me a little bit of an interest as far as text. So that's how I did that, okay? So then let me go back to my layout here. And you can see there are the ones I put on foam tape, and then there is my word stickers, because I have text here, and I have text here, and then I have text here. So my text makes a visual triangle, okay? And so some people would say that this photo is too big for this design. And you know what? Ask me if I care. No, I don't. Because the older I get into this mindset that it's what I want. It's not what anybody else wants. It's not what anybody else thinks. This is my album. This is my page. This is what I wanted to do. But with that, you could certainly visualize that this 7x8, this could be 4 photos, okay? It could even be 6 wallets, okay? So you do not have to use one photo on this layout. You could use 4 wallets or 6 wallets, 4 by 6s, whatever you want to do. Just cut things down and do that how you want to do that. Of course, you do not have to do this embellishment row either. It's just something I'm doing in this series to give us more options to play with our supplies. Now, if you are someone who did not put a 6x6 paper pad or some scraps or extra papers in your kit, what you absolutely could do for this type of embellishment row is use pre-made embellishments. I don't have a lot of pre-made baby embellishments, so that's why I use my punches and things like that. But you could absolutely do the same effect by using pre-made embellishments, so don't forget that. Or then also too, just skip it. I just wanted to show an option when it came to this. And I have one more little quick tip. This is something I learned several years ago, and it was just by accident. And I want to show that, and it has to do with this border sticker right here. So if you look at this border sticker right here, you can see there are so many little pieces that needs to come out of that border sticker, because it's just got a little, it has a lot of pieces. So what I did one day is that I wanted to play with a border sticker, and I just got so tired of having to pop out all of these little pieces every time I wanted to play with a border sticker. So I found a way to do this so quick. So you take it off of the transfer paper, okay, and then flip that transfer paper over and put your border sticker, I'll move this just for a minute, put your border sticker on the back of that transfer paper, and then you lift it up slowly, and those pieces will stick to the back of that. If I can pull it here. I lost some fingernails this week. Yeah, thanks to spring cleaning. Yeah, so you can see, if I can get it off here. Here we go. If I'm getting it. Here. So then what happens is all those little bits and bobs land on the back of that transfer paper. I mean, is that not quick? Yes, love that. And so that is all those little bits and bobs from that border sticker. I did not have to take like a little paper piercer and pierce all those little pieces out. No, just that's all I did. Just put on the back of that transfer paper, and those little pieces stick to that. Isn't that fun? Yes, I've done that for several years, because when I'm dealing with these border stickers, these little boogers are hard to get out. Definitely are. But if you need to, what I found is also you could use a pair of tweezers to get those little pieces out, and then also too a push pin is really good for getting those little bits and bobs out. Okay, you can definitely do that. Okay, I just wanted to share that. Yeah, I did that earlier, and I thought I need to share that. Okay, so that is my page for layout 1. Absolutely love how it turned out. I love that I have some journaling on there, and I love that I took one of these photos that has just not even been in a frame, hasn't been displayed, hasn't been anywhere but in a file. And so I'm so glad it's now on a scrapbook page that will go in an album and be looked at. So happy about that. So come back in a couple days. We're going to be doing layout 2, and I'll be using 2 photos, but remember, you don't have to do that. So no. And I will tell you that in layout 2, we're going to be working with the grid. Yes, excited about that. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Come back, because you never know what we're going to do. Bye.